I wish people would stop making people who stop talking to toxic family members feel bad as if those people don't already feel bad themselves. I feel like a majority of the time, we don't actually want to get rid of the toxic family member. Who actually wants to cut off their mom? Who actually wants to stop speaking to their dad? Who the fuck wants to stop talking to their grandma? The fact of the matter is, if these family members would do better, they could totally come back in our lives. But you're asking me to forgive somebody who's going to go ahead and do the same thing over and over again. You're asking me to love someone else more than I love myself. How is that fair? It hurts the hell out of me to not be able to talk to my mom, my dad, my grandmother, those people in my life. But you know what also hurt? Having them around, constantly stepping on my toes and disrespecting my boundaries and hurting my fucking feelings. That sucked too. And at some point, I've got to make a decision for me because they're living their lives. And I have to decide what kind of life I want for myself and what kind of people I want in that life with me.
Peace. The courthouse walk with y'all, man. We back. Definitely appreciate all the love and support. As y'all can see, we walking from the courthouse. So look, the grind don't stop, right? So this video is pretty much signs that you need to break away from your family, right? Look, let me go ahead and preface this by saying it is natural to have family. A lot of things that we have normalized, it's not natural. I talk to so many people and I've noticed like a slave mentality when it comes to a lot of things. With slaves at a certain period of time, they would talk a lot of ish about the slave master, and they would say how they want to get away, this and that. But due to them being under manipulation or getting to that point of what's comfortable for them, if they caught another slave saying the same thing the next day, they would start defending their slave master. And that's what we do in our families. A lot of us do that in our families. And we have to be honest, because a lot of times we complain about stuff, but when people call it out, it's triggering, so people start defending it because they're like, you ain't gonna talk about my mom like that, you ain't gonna talk about my siblings or whatever.
You really want to know?
Yeah.
And the answer is, you motherfucker!
Now, these are signs that you must get away.
Is it 8 or 9?
9.
Appreciate you, brother.
No problem. All right, you have a good one too, man. Yeah, so we have this thing where we ignore these signs that we need to get away from family. So here's the signs. The first thing I will always say, when you are bettering your lifestyle for the better. We're not talking about you want to be a damn drug lord or you want to be a stripper or something like that. Now, if that's your choice, that's your choice. We talking about, okay, hey mom, hey dad, or hey family, I want to eat better. And every time you go to a family function, it's jokes. And it's not just jokes, it's always a battle. Let's say if you have children and you say, I don't want my kids to eat this no more. Or I don't, this Thanksgiving, let's at least, we ain't have to be vegan or Dr. Sabi or nothing, but let's at least be more mindful of what we eat this go around. Let's do that. So that's a sign. Another sign will be your belief system. I'm not telling y'all to be an Aborigine, a Kemetic person, or I'm not telling you to do any of these things. A Muslim, a Christian. I'm just saying, as humanity and as a species on this planet, we have the right to question whatever. And when you grow up in families to where questions is illegal, because that's how a lot of us treat it. We treat it like questions is illegal. You need to get out of that, because the last thing you need to do is be encouraging yourself to do better in life or to raise children, and you can't really do any of it because, well, not that you can't do it, it's just more so of there's always pushback. So, with that being said, I just want to give y'all the courage to be able to do so. Like I've already stated, I've talked to thousands of people at this point, and I've dated people to where, well, I've built bonds and connection with people where you could be talking to someone, and it's like, I remember I was talking to somebody before, right? It's not about exposing nothing, it's just about just giving context. I remember talking to someone, and when I met them, they was a smoker, they would drink. But I would never be the guy that's like, hey, when you talk to me, you can't do X, Y, and Z. I lead by example, and then I give that person the option. This is what you want to do? Cool. If not, cool too. So, as me doing that, right, I started noticing so much change very fast in her life. And it was honestly faster than I thought. I'm like, dang. To where she's looking up and she's like, man, I'm not really, I don't have drama. I can't remember the last time I smoked. Like every time me and you together, we are able to get a euphoria feeling and be high of life and conversation and working out and just doing the dang thing. However, every time her mom would call her mood would completely change. It wouldn't matter how good the day was. Every time her mother would call her mood would completely change. And this ties in so perfectly because a lot of us, we don't have the guts, and we really just scary. There's really no other way to say it, that we are scary and we are afraid that we gonna be lonely or we gonna feel lonely or whatever the case may be. I'm so glad I'm 28, but I'm so glad I got rid of a lot of that stuff out of my system at 18, 19 years old, where I had to say, okay, my particular family, my story is going to be different than most people. So I'm not even going to be like unfair or, yeah, but my story is completely different because I was able to compartmentalize my family into like sub-genres connection. Meaning, at an early age, I knew my grandfather, I knew his plight was bigger than the family. So even if I had disagreements with him or lifestyle choices or whatever the case it may have been, when it came to my grandfather and my family as a whole, for the most part, I've always understood the importance and the dynamics of each relationship in my life. So my relationships with my family, even to this day, is not based on trauma. It's not based on, well, we went through this together or we went through that together. Yeah, so in closing of the video, man, it's one of the main signs that you really need to know. So in closing, one of the main signs that you need to pay attention to where it's time to departure from your family, it is when you start tricking yourself that people is going to change. I think that's the most common problem on planet Earth. When I talk to people, they're like, well, I was around my mom today, I was around my dad today, and it wasn't too bad, but it's still certain. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we can't have problems in our family, but some of the problems that a lot of us have experiencing over the last, I don't know how many years, is unacceptable. There's a difference between me and you having, I'm Christian, you Muslim, and we just view, but the moral respect there's no gossiping, there's no talking about, like there's none of that. But that's not what happens, and that's why I don't really take a lot of people serious when they talk about family, because I listen to people's words and I watch their actions. Most people cannot stand their family. Most people put up with their family solely off attachment. And I'm not here to knock that, because I understand the point of attachment and connection. I understand that. But I keep telling people, humanity is in stage 4 cancer. So at some point, a lot of us got to sally up, put on our big boy boots, and we got to start from scratch. It's really that simple. It is that simple. We have to start from scratch. We have no choice but to start from scratch. We have to detox ourselves from our families, from our world, whatever. Now, if you do have a certain good dynamic family, I'm not here to tell y'all to go against y'all family. First and foremost. Yeah, so that's not my plight. But in closing, man, don't be afraid to start from scratch.